Hi, I'm Jim Keays, and we're talking about my new album, Dirty Dirty, which it is, on Noise 11.
Paul Cashmere here at noise11.com and Jim Keays.
Hi, Paul.
Talking about, this is like my favourite album, the album that I've been playing over and over and over
You're
again.
just saying that,
I am not
Paul.
just saying that.
You did, you just said it.
At the end of 2012, I think this is going to be one of my albums of the year, Dirty Dirty.
Fantastic. Oh, good on you. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Now, this is the album you've obviously had in you for a long, long time, and it's been extracted out. We can thank a few people, Ted, Davey and Wolfie, for being behind you here.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really my idea to do it. It was Ted's idea. He came up with the idea and said, how about you do a garage punk album? I said, oh, don't be ridiculous. I don't write that sort of stuff anymore, And he said, no, I don't mean because all my career I've only ever recorded stuff that I've written. Mm-hmm. And so it was a bit alien for me to do an album of other people's stuff. But anyway, he said, no, I'll find the songs and I went, oh, I don't know about this, Ted, So he said, no, just trust me. So away he went and he got this CD together of about 25 tracks of stuff that he dug up, no-hit wonders and freak beat stuff from the 60s and that I'd never heard of even, and because he's quite an aficionado of all that sort of obscure stuff. Anyway, he played me the CD and I thought, oh, yeah, here we go. Put it on, and then I thought, this isn't bad. I could do a few songs here. I like some of these, So I said, all right, well, let's have a rehearsal and see how we go. And he said, I'll find the players, I'll get the young guys. And I said, yeah, I do want like young guys. I don't, if it's a garage album, it would be silly to use seasoned musicians. So he got the band together and we rehearsed and it sounded really good. And I thought, this is all right, So then Ted said, I think we should record it. And I said, I'll find the studio. And okay, all right. So he did. Went and recorded it. And one of my provisos was, though, I said, if we record this and I sound like some 65-year-old guy trying to sing garage punk music, I'll be a complete laughingstock, it'd be an embarrassment. And, okay. So we recorded the songs, and they didn't sound like that. They sounded actually quite youthful. And it surprised even me. I thought, gee, this is quite good. So then the next step was that Ted said, I think we can get a record deal. I said, oh, well, I'll never get a record deal. Nobody at my age gets a record deal. None of them. Yeah. None of my peers have record deals, Yeah, no, well, we'll see what we got. So away he goes. He goes to the first record company, which is Shock. And a guy there, David Williams, he played it for him, but didn't tell him who it was or what it was. He just said, have a listen to this. And David goes, what is this? Is this some 60s band you've dug up from, He said, no, it was recorded last week. Yeah. And David went, what? Who is it? He said, it's Jim Keays. He goes, Jim Keays? He said, yeah. He said, great, I love it. Let's go ahead and make an album. Mm. So, this is good. So we went back into the studio, picked some more songs, went back to the studio, did another whole batch of songs and made the album, and here it is.
Yeah.
So it's beyond my expectations, because it started off, I would do it for fun, and it's just grown from there, and anything beyond that was a bonus. And it's got bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm. The trouble is, I've had so many failures in my career that it's hard for me to get excited about something anymore. Everybody else is excited. I'm going, oh yeah, we'll see. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I mean, not many artists are selling a lot of copies of CDs anyway. No matter how good you are or who you are. So it's a tough market. So I don't expect it'll go nuts, but it could do quite well.
Now it is a covers album, but they're fairly obscure covers.
They are. They're extremely obscure, because I didn't even know more than half of them. So it is. I don't even see it as a covers album. Like people that do covers albums, they do Bob Dylan songs or known songs. These are totally unknown songs. So I'm not trying to make an album where I'm putting all my favourite artists on there. I'm doing versions of their songs. It's not like that at all.
Well, the title track, Dirty Dirty, is a Crazy Horse song.
Yeah. Oh, they're from everywhere, Betty McQuaid's song, from the 50s or early 60s, and things like that. And so they're from all over the place, but most of them are from that quintessential 60s garage area.
Yeah. Now, when I listen to this record, Dirty Dirty, it's not such a stretch on the sound of this record to go back to early Masters Apprentices, your old band.
No, it's not. And I think one of the main reasons for that is Davey Lane. I mean, he's a guitar player that has a huge affection for 60s sort of garage music, and he plays that way. He looks like somebody who stepped off the cover of a Masters Apprentices album in 1968, and Wolfie too. They all had a great enthusiasm for this project. And normally you would find if a solo artist makes a record, he gets musicians in and they're just sort of, they're there to play those songs. These guys were there because they loved it and they wanted to be there and they were excited about the project. And that made a lot of difference, in the vibe that went into it, They weren't just sidemen playing as they were instructed. So that made for an album that just sounds like a band, a real band. And that was important to me, that it had those elements. First of all, that it sounded youthful, and also that it had that youthful exuberance that we had back in 1965 when we first started playing that sort of music. And so those elements had to be there to make it work, and luckily they are, so it's great.
Well, Davey is a huge fan of the era, he's a huge fan of the Masters Apprentices, so it must have been just totally compatible to have him.
It was, there was no trying to explain to them what we might like to do here, or nothing like that. They just into it, and it was exactly that. I went at the first rehearsal. I went, wow, this is just exactly. I don't have to tell them, you better do this or you should do that or anything like that at all. There was no. They just knew straight away how to treat that song when they were rehearsing, and that was the thrill of it, thinking, wow, this could be really good, these guys really have an affinity for this sort of music. So yeah.
And done like the good old days. I mean, in and out in 7 days.
Yeah, we recorded, mixed, and finished the whole album in 7 days. And that was pretty good for in the modern era. I mean, that happened maybe back then, but nowadays they go in for months, and so I was happy about that, because I thought if we can come out with something like this in only 7 days, it must have that immediacy about it, and that's what I liked.
One of the tracks on here that I do know was "Do Ya," but I knew it as an ELO song.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Why'd you do an ELO song? Oh, no, it was The Move, and nobody knew it was The Move. Yeah. Not very many people know it's The Move. And Masters Apprentices in our day used to do a couple of Move songs on stage, because they were a real mod band, and they were a real tough sort of mod band, and right up our alley. So we used to do some Move songs. So Do You happen to be on this original tape that Davey compiled, and I thought, great, it's a Move song, so that's why we did it. But unfortunately, people are going, oh, why'd you do ELO? That's from the wrong era, But
yeah,
we do it more like The Move.
Jeff Lynne was in both bands, wasn't he?
Jeff Lynne was in both bands, and Bev Bevan, the drummer. But our version is a lot more grittier than the ELO. The ELO one was all the strings and all nicely produced, whereas the Move one was a tougher, sort of more garagey sounding one. Yeah. So we leaned towards the Move version.
And you do Midnight Bus, which was a John D. Loudermilk song.
It was originally.
A big hit in Australia for Betty McQuaid, who passed away recently.
She did.
Did she ever get to hear your version?
I don't know if she did. She was alive when we recorded it, and then dead by the time it's released. So I don't know if in the intra period she actually did hear it. And Johnny Chester also had a version of it. But somehow that song had always stuck with me, even from when I was a kid and heard it. And I always thought that maybe one day I'd like to do that. So I see Midnight Bus as being a bit of the black sheep on this album. To me, it sort of didn't fit with the rest of the stuff all that well. But other people were going, oh, no, it's great, leave it there, because I was going to drop it. And people said, no, it's good to have something that's that different, just to give it some balance, that they're not all bang, 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 bang songs, And in the end, the engineer that worked on it said, "No, I love Midnight Bus. Leave it on there, you know." And I thought, okay, all right. So we have, you know, and now I hear the album in its entirety with Midnight Bus on there. I think it's a good foil for the rest of the stuff, you know. Yeah,
it fits.
It seems to now, yeah. Whereas I didn't think it did at first.
Yeah. Mystic Eyes, the Van Morrison song. Now, which era of Van Morrison was that from?
Them. He was in a band called Them. It was before Van Morrison went solo, and it was the B-side of "Baby Please Don't Go," I think, and. That one was the last song we did for the album, and I wanted to do something that was just a bit of a blow, you know, it's just blowing on a feel and just playing a bit of harmonica. So I remembered Mystic Eyes as being that sort of song, that it wasn't really a structured song. It was more or less just a sort of a jam with a bit of harmonica and a few words. And I thought, I'd like to do a song like that. So we did Mystic Eyes, and we didn't actually rehearse much of it at all because it was so simple. You didn't really need a rehearsal. So when we were recording it, we just the boys got out in the studio and started playing it, and I was in the control room and they gave me a mic, and so I just started playing harmonica along with it. And then when the vocal part came in, I just started singing, and just as a guide track. And they went, "That's it, we got it." And I went, "What do you mean? We've got to do the proper vocals and harmonica yet?" No, that's great the way it is. I was, "Oh, well, hang on." And then when I heard it back a few times, I thought, yeah, it's all right. It's just a good old jam, and it's supposed to have all the warts and all. So we left it there.
Now, the Haunted, who were the original artists that did 125, which is the opening track on here. I wasn't aware of them. Who are they?
No, I'm not aware of them either. So you're asking me a question that I know nothing about. And I haven't even Googled them up, so I wouldn't have a clue who the Haunted are.
Well, that's what we'll do. Straight after this interview, we'll go to the old Google machine.
It's not... in retrospect, when people are saying what their favourite songs on the album are... that doesn't come up all that often. Not many people sort of say it's, you know, one of their favourite. But to me, what that song does, it sets up a mood. I mean, it's a real garagey thing, and it sort of sets up that that's the sort of album that you can expect here, you know. So it works in that regard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The minute you hear 125 on this record, you know this isn't.
This is what it is. Yeah. And that's why we did that, you know, to say. You know, because if we'd put maybe Midnight Bus up there, people would go, "Now, what kind of album's this?" You know, so that's why we put 125 there, and that it works really well for that reason.
Well, seriously, one of the great albums this will be this year, believe me. Dirty Dirty, Jim Keays. It's the name of the album. Jim, good to hear.
Lovely compliment. Thank you, Paul.
Great to have you here at Noise 11.
Great to be here.